Greetings, YouTube, and welcome to episode 309 of the 4,000 Question Challenge. What new law would you like to make? New law I would like to make. I would like to make it illegal for adults to hit children. That you cannot hit a child under the age of 18 unless it's in self-defense. That's it. A no spanking law, essentially. Is reverse discrimination a real problem? It is absolute fucking bullshit. It doesn't exist. Reverse racism does not exist. It is a narrative of social conservatism, because that's bull. Now she's whitewashing it a little here. This reverse discrimination, she's diluting it by framing it in that way. But no, it's bull, and it makes me really not like this author. What should be done about unsolicited junk mail, email, spam, and phone solicitation? It should be illegal. You should not be able to just send ads to people's homes or their phones. Not political ads, not any kind of commercial ads, period. I don't want to see it. If I want information, I will seek it out. If I don't seek it out, too damn bad. What should be the priority? Exploring space, the ocean, or our planet? I don't think you can really do the ocean bit without also doing the planet bit. But, well, since we're on the planet, and I don't know how you break down planet and ocean as being separate things. So I guess they're trying to say is the ocean, they're viewing the ocean as one thing and the terrestrial areas of the planet as others, as another. So we'll go with the planet, I guess. It's a weird framing, but yeah. How should race epithets be treated? Race epithets. Should people be allowed to say the N-word if they aren't black? That's what the framing here is. So you're saying this, should people be allowed to use racial slurs? No. If someone would like to use a racial slur for themselves or for someone that they are in the same racial group with, that's on them. But should someone outside of that particular racial group be using a racial slur towards person? No. If I want to use the term cracker for myself or another white person, that's perfectly acceptable. If I want to use the N-word towards black people, not acceptable. Really interesting framing here. What concerns you more, the nation's economic or moral problems? Are they related? I'm not concerned about the nation's moral problems really so much as the fact that too many of our laws are being controlled by socially conservative worldviews. That's bad. At the moment, the biggest issue is the economic inequality. I just, no thanks. We need to fix that problem. We need to solve that problem. We're not addressing it. And so if we were to solve the economic issues, America would be a far better, healthier place, and we'd have far fewer moral issues. Okay. If there was no need for armies, how should governments use the money? So in a world where there was no war, which means you'd have to disarm everyone. So a world where there are no firearms, or at least in a world where there's no one who wants to commit an act of violence. You really have to get down to that level of granularity here. So if there's no one who wants to commit organized violence, as opposed to the individual variety, then we could use that money towards infrastructure, healthcare, education, and importantly, the exploration and expansion of our species into space. There you go. You know how much better off we'd be if we dumped our military budget into NASA? Um, would you tell the FBI about a family member you knew committed or was suspicious of committing a crime? Depends on the crime. It really does. If it's a crime against rich people and it was nonviolent, I would probably not say a word to anybody because they're going after rich people, and as long as it's not violent, I don't really have a problem. You want to steal from rich people? You want to siphon off a few $1 billion from some bank account in the Cayman Islands from Bill Gates? Go for it. What do you think about the availability of healthcare coverage in the United States? It's terrible. It is morally bankrupt. We allow people every year to die, and we spend far too much money on a system that I believe is ranked 37th in the world. We pay far too much money for a system that fails us miserably. Miserably. So yes, we have the worst healthcare system out there amongst amongst the developed nations, and even among some of the undeveloped nations. Because technically there's only 33, considered 33 developed nations, I guess. And last question for this video, should there be a limit of legal immigrants to the United States? Well, I think that we need to have higher limits of legal immigration to the United States. I also think we need to streamline the process. We need to shorten the process. We need to make it easier and a faster process to get here. I don't think that it needs to take as long to vet people as it currently does. And we need to be egalitarian about it in the sense that it has to apply to every nation, not just the European nations. It's really easy to come to the United States if you're British, for example, and a lot more difficult, say, if you're from Zimbabwe. Okay? It's much more difficult to achieve that. But whatever the current cap is, it should be higher. We should look at the world. We should look at all the other developed nations and say, okay, what's the cap that they have in other developed nations? And we should base our numbers off of that. Now, I don't know what that cap is at the top of my head. But it should be higher than whatever it is right now because the United States of America is completely letting down the world because we just don't take in the number of refugees and the number of political asylum seekers and the number of legal immigrants and that we should. And our immigration system is so complex and it's divided between like 3 or 4 different branches. So it needs to be consolidated, it needs to be streamlined, it needs to be shortened. I also would shorten the amount of time it takes to as a resident, you have to be here as a resident before you can then apply to become a U.S. citizen. I think it's 7 years, pardon me. I would probably shorten that down to 5. And I would probably also lower the bar in the requirements because let's be honest, in America, you can be born here, be completely illiterate, not graduate high school, but you're still a U.S. citizen. So why do we set the bar so high for someone that's coming from another nation? Why do we set that bar higher than we do here? Now, I understand that you want to make sure that the person feels a sense of connection to the culture, so they have to understand something about how the government works, but you don't require that of your average person that's just born here. I can guarantee you I could walk out in the street right now and talk to 1,000 American citizens. And the only ones of them that are actually going to know anything about the United States of America are going to be the people that immigrated here from the outside. I mean, I can guarantee you I could ask most people, white people in America, ask them, are people born in Puerto Rico American citizens? And they wouldn't know the answer. Yeah, we are horrible. And we treat our immigrants poorly. So there you go. Alrighty. Thank you for being here for episode 309 of the 4,000 Question Challenge. I hope that you'll be here for episode 310.